Hello my beautiful friends, today we are going to talk about a new exciting indie brand called Magical Hippie Crecallium. This brand is based in the US and they offer a quite nice range of eyeshadows, both loose pigment but also a eyeshadow palette, some single eyeshadows, some glosses, and yeah, I think that's it what they offer currently, but since it's a new brand they will probably expand along the way. And I have gotten the chance to try some of the products and I will talk about them today so you know what I think about them. But before we start to talk about everything, I want to say that I first discovered this brand through Instagram. I was drooling over all of the beautiful products that they were showcasing and I was like, I really need to try this brand, but the prices are quite up there, so I wanted to save up some money so I could try them out. But then the owner did suddenly reach out to me and asked me, do you want to try your products? And that was of course an offer I couldn't say no to, both for review purposes but also for my own curiosity. So first I'm going to talk about the loose pigments they sent me. I got one very beautiful iridescent stunning shade. It comes in a very big packaging and then there is a mirror on the top and you screw it off like this. I personally don't use this kind of sponge thing, but you can just screw off the lid and dip your brush in it, which I prefer to do. And this is such a beautiful iridescent magical sparkly highlighter, and you can use it all over the lid if you like that, or on the brow bone or on the cheeks if you are like me and just want to be seen from the moon basically. And then we have a very beautiful multichrome loose pigment. It shifts from blue to purple to almost goldish yellow. It's really stunning. You will see it in the swatches later on. I like to wet it to use it for winged liner or maybe all over the lid for a really cool effect. I don't feel like I have much to say about those loose pigments because I feel like loose pigments are loose pigments. Most of them performs the same, and if you like loose pigments, you will probably like those ones too. I especially love this light loose pigment because it's so versatile. You can use it basically everywhere, on your eyes, on your lips, on your cheeks, on your collarbone, on your shoulders. Yeah, it's just your fantasy that has limits basically. And now I'm going to talk about the lip glosses. I got one very cool black lip gloss with multicolored sparkles. I have never seen a lip gloss like this and I hope that I will be able to showcase it in the video so you get a good idea of how cool it really is. I also got a multichrome lip gloss that is quite similar to the loose pigment I got. Maybe I should try those together because I bet it will look even cooler paired together. And this gloss is what I'm wearing on my lips today. I wear a brown lip liner underneath, but you can use those lip glosses on their own too. They are quite opaque, but I personally prefer to use lip glosses on top of a lip liner basically because it's a preference thing, I guess. But if you are someone who doesn't like lip liner or lipsticks, you can use them on their own. I feel like the multichrome one smells like shea butter a little bit nutty, if I can say that. And the black one, I don't think it smells anything, so I don't know what that is about, but just keep in mind that the multichrome lip gloss has a smell or fragrance, while the black one doesn't have anything. I am not against the smell. I personally like when lip products smell something, so it's just a bonus for me. And now I'm going to talk about the star of the show and maybe the thing that is a little bit controversial due to the high price point. But I will talk you through it and after that I will tell you whether I think it's worth the price or not. So this is the Soul Bound eyeshadow palette. You open it like a book like this and there's a nice mirror here on the inside, and then you have like a paper that you can switch like this, and I like to take this part because the eyeshadows are here on the next side. And as you can see, it's a really cool color story, and you can basically lift this part up, and underneath you will have a nice big magnetic palette, and I think it's a really neat idea. So the first thing that really surprised me when I saw this palette in person was the big eyeshadow pans. They are 36mm, and when I saw it on Instagram and on the website I didn't realize that the pans were so big. So that's something you need to keep in mind, and I think that plays a big role in why the price is so expensive, because it contains 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or maybe more multichromes. I would say that 3 of the shades are maybe more duochromes, but I'm not exactly sure how they have counted. But all I can say is that all of the shimmers are really high quality. I can notice that this is expensive pigments to make, and therefore it definitely reflects in the price. But before I go into depth about that topic, I will talk about the eyeshadow formula. So the palette contains 4 beautiful mattes. I was really impressed by the choice of mattes, and this is a personal thing, I guess, but I feel like after using the palette quite a lot, I noticed that all of the shades goes very well together, but sometimes I have been missing a lighter matte shade, and that's not a big issue for someone with my collection size. To be honest, I can just bring in any other light shade or even a matte powder, but when you think about the price point, this is maybe something you want to have in consideration. I really like the matte formula. It's really easy to work with. It almost blends itself. I feel like even though that the shades are quite different from each other, they doesn't look muddy when you try to blend them together, and I think that's great. The formula isn't powdery at all, and I barely notice any kick up at all, so that's really nice. I personally love orange blush, so I actually use the big orange pan to use as blush on my cheeks, so for me it's a really multi-purpose product. When it comes to shimmer formulas, I feel like there's 2 different formulas. The more traditional multichromes has a more emollient formula, and it really glides on super easily, almost like butter, I would say. And then there is a slightly more flaky formula. It's not super flaky or anything like that, but I can notice that there is a difference in the texture. And since those eyeshadows are so emollient and creamy, I don't feel the need to use a glitter glue when I'm using them, but I have tried both with and without glitter glue, and it works really fine either way on me. But I have to say that I'm not entirely sure how well those kinds of creamy shimmers will work on oily lids. My guess would be that it maybe will result in some creasing, but that's just my guess. I have no clue since I don't have those issues normally. And I haven't had those issues with this formula, at least. There is some really cute imprints in both the shimmers and the matte shades, so that's such a cute touch. I really love the mushrooms, and there is some moons in the shimmers, so that's such a cute detail too that I wanted to mention. And now to the elephant in the room, the price. I'm sure that most of you are watching this video because you want to know if I think it's worth the price or not, and I will be as transparent and honest as possible. So the palette retails for $380 USD in full price. It's currently on sale for $280, and the brand runs sales from time to time. I know that they currently have a sale with 60% off the site on basically everything, so now is a pretty good time to try the brand out if you want to try something. So first I want to break down why the palette is so expensive. Of course, it's the beautiful custom palette. It's really unique, a collector's piece, to be frank, and it's really big. You get a magnetic palette underneath, and that's also something that is really cool, and you get those beautiful big pans. There is exclusive multichrome pigments, and there is of course details like the imprints in the eyeshadows that of course cost some money to make. I noticed that the shades are also custom made, so it's not shades that you easily can get a hold on, I think. And yeah, it's a lot of work that has been put through this palette. But I will be honest, it's an expensive palette and you of course doesn't need it. I think that this palette will be great for someone who really loves to collect special pieces for their collection, who really sees their makeup as something that you get a lot of joy from with the packaging and the whole aesthetic thing. But if you're someone who basically depots your palettes and don't care about packaging at all, maybe this palette won't be for you. And if you are just curious about one or two shades, you should probably look into the single eyeshadows instead. But for someone who is like me, who already has a big collection but still wants the curated palette, I would love if the brand could come out with a smaller version of the palette, maybe just like the part where you take out this little thing with 26mm pans, because that would be a great option. The price would be lower, hopefully, and we will still get to enjoy the beautiful curated color story. Since this brand is so new, I'm sure that they are developing and looking at every kind of feedback they can get and how to improve the brand and all of that. So yeah, that's my feedback basically, that they should look into the option of making smaller palettes, because it's a very beautiful palette, but I know for sure that not everyone is willing to spend that kind of money on a palette. But I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by how well the formula worked out. I was really prepared for a disaster because it's a brand I'm not familiar with, and I don't like to praise brands if I don't like the formula, because I'm an honest person. So I mean, if you have the founds, you love the look of the palette, it might be worth the money for you, but for most of us it's very expensive, and I'm not going to lie about that fact. But as I mentioned, you're paying for the whole experience. You're paying for the beautiful and innovative packaging, you're paying for the beautiful pigments, the imprints, the artwork, the big pans, and all of that. I think I mentioned everything. So yeah, it's up to everyone whether they feel like it's worth the money or not. I am definitely open to try more products from the brand in the future. I still hope that they will come out with smaller pans, because it will result in more affordable options, of course. But I'm really impressed by the formula, that's all I can say. And I'm not just saying this because I got this for free, because I would be happy if I received this palette after purchasing it too, because as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't expecting it to have this good formula. I think that this was it for this video. Please consider to subscribe if you're into indie makeup, colorful makeup, or just want to see me embarrassing myself. And please let me know if you would be willing to pay this much for an eyeshadow palette. Let me know in the comments. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye!